You're listening to Occupolitics, a MuggleNet.com podcast about politics in the wizarding world of Harry Potter. I'm Adri, your host and a recovering English major.
And I'm Julianna, your other co-host. And I would like a new title because I was not able to think of anything for myself. So if you listeners out there have a fun little quippy title for me, please hit us up on one of our socials, and I would highly appreciate that.
Oh, our socials are at Occupolitics everywhere, just to remind listeners. All right, Julianna, I think maybe like the running Hufflepuff might be cool, but we'll see.
I was thinking of like Hufflepuff and Runner, like Hufflepuff English.
Ooh,
but
that's so cute, the Hufflepuff and Runner.
We can use that one for now. Maybe let's see what people think of that one, and we can see if anyone else has anything more creative. They might.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah. Love it. First of all, I'd like to thank our patrons for making this podcast possible. Our Patreon really just pays for all the uploading, the website maintenance, and all the good stuff. So it's because of you that I don't have to pay more money out of my paycheck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Another thing before we begin, because this is the last episode of Goblet of Fire, the book, I'd like to ask not our patrons. Oh God, I'd like to ask our listeners for a favor. You can email us at info@Occupolitics, leave us a voicemail at 915-996-1699, and let us know how Harry Potter has impacted your politics. we'd love to hear how reading the series, either as a young person or later on, might have impacted the way that you view the world. So today we're talking about the one and only Goblet of Fire, the whole book. Julianna, how do you feel about this?
I feel like this is a big book. And this
It is. It is the biggest book we've done so far.
I feel like it's one of the thicker ones in the whole series, isn't it?
I think Order and Deathly Hallows, maybe. Well, the rest are pretty thick too. Like this is the one that starts the thick trend.
That's true.
Wasn't Order like 900 pages?
It could be. I think you're right. I think Order of the Phoenix is the longest book out of all of them. I know Deathly Hallows definitely isn't the longest, but it's still probably around, I want to say, 700 pages.
Yeah, we like thick books. I'm not gonna lie.
We like them thick around here.
I stan a thick book.
Oh, I love it.
THICC. Just kidding. Books aren't sexual.
I feel like that's like the way you would spell fat, on Fat Farms. If something was cool, it's like, that's like going back to middle school. Good Lord, that's fat. It's like, okay.
I know.
It's like, no,
it's
with a
fat
PH.
Book. PH, yes. So let's do a brief book summary. Julianna, I'm looking at your notes. Listeners, Julianna made such a good notes document. From now on, I'm going to relegate notes to her. This is what's just going to happen, Julianna. But this is a long ass summary. Let's kind of skip through some of these things.
I think we can kind of do an abbreviated version.
I mean, if you really want a super abbreviated version, I could be like, so, Harry, Quidditch World Cup, Triwizard Tournament, ? Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? He said calmly. No. Are you sure? Okay. Triwizard tasks, dragons, lake with mermaids, and Triwizard maze? Voldemort comes back, ? But Cedric dies, and the end, I guess.
Oh, we learned that Moody was actually
Barty Crouch. Barty Crouch Jr. actually was Moody the whole time.
And no one believes that Voldemort came back.
The end.
The end. They all go back on the train, and Harry goes back to the Dursleys. and he's miserable. Hooray!
Yeah, I think we nailed it. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, I think that was a good summary. I mean, you hit all the high points.
Also, Rita Skeeter is the most annoying character.
Yes. Oh, second to Umbridge. I would honestly.
Oh, in this book, I mean, not in the series. Yeah.
Yes.
Also, wizarding students from around the world. I didn't know that was a thing.
Question mark?
Like, that's question mark.
Maybe we'll learn more in Fantastic Beasts. Other question mark, but we don't know. To be determined.
God, I hope so. TBD.
It just drove me crazy that we didn't learn, like, we literally learned nothing about Ilvermorny, and it's still just like a random assignment you get as part of your, I was going to say Pottermore, but Wizarding World thing that you do now. It's just...
I have not logged in, and I'm scared that I'm no longer a Gryffindor.
I took the new Sorting Hat quiz this week on the app, and it's much prettier than the old other one, but it's literally exactly the same, and I'm still a Hufflepuff. I posted on the Speak VC common room thing, and everyone was like, yeah, no shit. We knew. I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's that obvious.
We've been known.
Yeah.
I took this like interactive Sorting Hat quiz that is not like J.K. Rowling adjacent, and it said that like my primary house is Gryffindor, obviously, but my secondary house is Hufflepuff, so that makes sense to me.
Is it the one that breaks it down by percentage of which house you are?
No, it's like it's from a Tumblr, actually.
Oh.
I'm gonna see if I can find the link to send it to you because it was really, really interesting.
Oh, because I took one that was, I can't remember what site it was on, but it was
BuzzFeed, probably.
No, it was some kind of janky looking site, honestly, and and it was a good quiz though. It was more comprehensive than the Sorting Hat quiz that's on. I'm just going to call it Pottermore. That's on Pottermore. That is like 10, 11 questions. And it's like, what kind of road would you go down? The dark road or the light road? It's like, okay, like the Slytherins are obviously going to pick the dark road. Like the Hufflepuffs are going to pick the grassy green knoll. Like, let's be real here, people. We all know which house we're choosing when we pick which road or which potion we're going down, or like what kind of. The only one that's more of a toss-up is the one where they have you pick what pet you'd want, because I have no idea like which pet goes with which house, because they have you pick if you want like a cat, an owl, or a rat, or a toad or something. I don't know, but then you have to pick a subcategory within that. So I picked the tawny owl because he was the cutest.
Okay, so the Tumblr site is the Sorting Hat Chats.
I'm gonna put that into my browser.
I sent you the link. It's a really long link, Juliana.
Oh, gosh,
but I can also share that on Twitter.
Yes, we can add that to our list of things to start sharing on the social medias.
On the social medias.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like this was really interesting. I did it at like a rare lull of work time, like a really rare lull of like peaceful, quiet time at work. And then I was like, oh, that makes sense. Secondary Hufflepuff. Cool.
Yeah,
or like they do like also like a burned Hufflepuff, which means like,
oh, yeah,
like you were probably like leading towards that, but something happened to you. Like, I don't know. It seems very in-depth.
Yeah, I've heard of burned Hufflepuffs before. I feel like it's people who are Hufflepuffs and have that tendency to care for and care a little bit too much about people, but they care for someone who has really has emotionally scarred them, and so they're not as prone to be as caring as other people who are in the Hufflepuff house, and they're kind of cynical.
Yeah, I mean that totally makes sense. I'm in therapy because of it.
Yeah, honestly. No, my secondary house is definitely Slytherin, because I'm definitely pretty self-centered.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that. So I think like the only thing we're really missing is a Ravenclaw at this point.
Wasn't your husband a Ravenclaw?
Yeah, and so we're just gonna like force him to read some chapters with us again.
There we go. He always just sounds so willing when you have him on.
He's a good sport. I can't complain. I found a good one.
Well, that's always good.
But he won't read it unless it's for the podcast.
I just enjoy
you win some.
He reads just like one obscure chapter and has almost no context for it.
Yeah. Harry Potter out of context. That's what we're going to call his episodes.
I mean, I'm behind that.
All right. So
I'll take the quiz later.
Yeah, take the quiz later. This is really cool. I'm going to take it again because I don't think I finished it.
I have it up in my browser, so.
Oh, another thing we didn't talk about this book, Ron and jealousy. This is the entire book where Ron grapples with jealousy.
So do we want to get into, backpedaling just ever so slightly. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the prominent politics.
Yes. And let's talk about the politics of jealousy first, though, because this is something that I am so interested in. So jealousy comes from seeing someone have something that you either didn't know you wanted until you saw someone else have it, or secretly wanted the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Like Hermione.
And it's like Hermione. But it's no secret that he wants to be richer, right? He wants to not struggle financially. Yeah. And to have a friend like Harry Potter who doesn't have to struggle financially, but does struggle in other more, I don't know, in worse ways, like, to struggle for your family's love and affection is worse than struggling for money, but I don't think Ron sees it that way.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Like, his jealousy of Harry kind of obscures him from noticing what he actually has going for him. He doesn't understand that he has a loving family and Harry does not.
Yeah, I think, this whole book pretty much is just Ron being salty towards Harry. Almost like 90% of the book. Or he's just being salty towards Crumb.
Or Hermione for not, like, being a celibate nun.
Yeah.
How dare she have a social life?
He just seems like he feels like he's entitled to a lot of things.
To everything, yeah.
That he doesn't actually have. Like when Harry buys the omnoculars, or when Harry buys stuff off the trolley, in Ron's head, we can tell that he's like, well, I should have that, but I don't.
But the funny thing is that he does have that because Harry is very generous.
Yeah, he doesn't really think through the fact that Harry does have money, but he's willing to spend it on you, Ron.
But maybe what Ron, in his like heart of hearts, wants at the end of the day is not just the money. He wants the power and freedom that comes with the money.
Yeah, I think he wants the money.
He wants to be able to be generous, maybe.
He wants the autonomy of the money to be his own. He doesn't want to be dependent on Harry, or dependent on his parents, or dependent on whatever the situation may be to have money or get things that he wants, i.e. Hermione again. So I think you're right with that.
Well, and when it comes to Hermione, it was that he'd had her as a fixture in his life for such a long time and had taken her for granted. And then all of a sudden, someone else takes an interest in her, and not just because of her beauty, but also because of her book smarts and because of, how she is, like, rather than just, being kind of like just looking for the one thing or whatever, like someone who's trying to create an actual meaningful relationship with her, when Ron has been taking his sweet ass time in doing that. And he's just like, how dare someone else come in and like the girl that I kind of like, but also have not said that I like.
I think the perfect moment of that is when Harry and Ron are both looking for dates, and they turn to Hermione and they're like, she's a girl. We can ask her. And she turns back to them and is like, I was here the whole time, and I've been a girl the whole time, and what makes you think that someone else has not already asked me, you dum-dums?
I'm sorry, just because you now realized I'm a girl doesn't mean no one else has realized I'm a girl.
Yeah, it's just...
And I feel for Hermione that in that moment, because I've been that person. I've been the girl who's been friends with boys in middle school and around a lot of boys, and they very late realized that I was an actual girl and not just like their bro. And they were like, oh, what do you mean you have a boyfriend? And they stopped like talking to me, and I was like, I'm still your friend.
Nothing has changed here, just that you have realized that
I'm a girl.
Yeah. I have a vagina like, and you do not, my friend.
Just like, oh, you're a girl? Oh no, like we can't talk to you. Like, how dare you, my de facto girlfriend who's not my girlfriend, have a boyfriend who's an actual boyfriend?
Yeah, they just take you for granted.
They want like a woman to do like all the emotional labor but still treat you like a bro. So they have like the best of both worlds. And when you're no longer available or as available to do this emotional labor, then they're like, oh shit.
Yep.
And maybe that's part of it. Maybe Ron was expecting Hermione to do some emotional labor that she no longer is willing to do.
I mean, she's pretty much the one who keeps them all sane through most of the books and keeps all their heads on. Because with them,
yeah, it should be Hermione Granger, and y'all can handle this without me. Like,
in all
that
honesty,
should be the series.
That's a pretty good title.
I mean, Hermione Granger saves the day once again.
You think of any of like the key moments in the book. Why do they even get through half that shit? It's because Hermione's there and she's planned ahead. She knows some kind of spell. She has a whole purse that has the entirety of the world inside of it. And without that, they would be so screwed.
Hermione Granger, and we call Harry Potter the hero because he's a man. Like,
yeah.
But really, she's the real hero.
Yeah. She should be the one who has Hermione Granger Day or whatever the heck Harry gets at the end.
You know what? I stand a queen, you know? Like, I love Hermione, so.
I'm here for it.
They couldn't even, like, locate anything without her. Come on, guys.
No, they couldn't have gotten through it. Even in this book, when we get to the first task, we have Hermione teaching Harry how to do the summoning spell that he probably should have known since his freaking first year anyway. How did they not know Accio since their first year where you can summon a broom good enough?
I've said the same thing.
It's just, what are they learning? Absolutely nothing. We already know that.
I mean, of course not. But also, like, if Harry was left to his own devices, he'd, like, Expelliarmus everything in sight. I mean, he still does, but at least she teaches him new spells. The fact that he doesn't use them is troubling to me.
Yeah. I mean, if I had people coming after me for my life, I think my spell docket would be a little bit more comprehensive than just, like, kick the wand out of your hand.
Harry Potter just using Expelliarmus for everything is just, like, male white privilege in this world.
Oh, like, boy, that is... Yeah.
Because, like, it actually works for him, but for, like, a woman of color, probably not, and she would have, like, or even just a woman, just, like a bigger repertoire of, like, spells that actually work better.
Well, but, like, the whole book actually shows us that, because we have Harry, he's the one who's in charge, who's, like, the star of the series. He literally just uses Expelliarmus, that's the whole
Expelliarmus.
Expelliarmus the whole time. Clearly I can talk very well. But then, like we were just talking about, we have Hermione here. She knows every freaking spell in every single book in the
But
library.
then, like, the fact that Expelliarmus works for Harry every single time is such, like, mediocre white man bullshit moving through the world.
Yep.
Because they're like, I'm just gonna put, like, the least amount of effort into this, and it still works out for me. I'm a white man.
Cool, I just defeated Voldemort.
Well, have you read that thing where it's like, Harry Potter is basically the story of a jock with a trust fund who then became a cop? And I was like, man. Ballad.
Yeah. In all honesty, it's true. I mean, as much as I love the books, like, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So I think we're done with the politics of jealousy, but I think we got real deep. The next politic we want to talk about is the politic of love.
Yeah. So we actually see a bunch of different kinds of love throughout the entirety of the book. Obviously, like, we have Harry's mom's love that at the end actually can't even save him anymore because Voldemort has Harry's blood now, so that's kind of negated, which sucks for Harry, but it is what it is.
Also, like, the idea that blood can carry something like love in it is interesting. Like, so what is it about blood where, like, the protection would be in Harry's blood and not any other place?
That's true. Maybe because your blood comes from, like, your blood family.
And it gives you life, you know, that kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of the way you would pass down heritage from one family member to the other. You're passing
Yeah,
down.
I can see that. I can see that.
I can kind of see the parallel there. But again, I'm not in Jo's brain, so I don't know exactly where she was coming from with that.
I mean, sometimes Jo doesn't know and then makes it up after the fact. We've talked about this.
Sometimes. I think it's more than sometimes. That's just a hot take, though.
Hot takes with Adrienne and Juliana. And then we have, like, the friendship that the trio has, even though there's some rifts here and there.
Mm-hmm. And this book does a good job of showing that, how even though you guys love each other, you can still fight, but in the end they make up and everything is fine, and they end up being closer because they come to an understanding over whatever they're fighting about at that time.
The mermaids steal what they love for the second task.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting too. And I'm trying to remember the exact line from the
what you'll miss the most or something like that.
Yeah. It's interesting that that's what they would do, because I think they think that if you miss it the most, then you're going to put the most effort into finding it, and it will motivate you to try harder, which is kind of what they're trying to do with these people.
I wonder how they made those selections, right?
Yeah,
like
without asking.
So, like, how did they know that Crumb would miss Hermione the most? How did they know that Harry would miss Ron the most, and Cedric, Cho, and, like, Fleur would miss her little sister the most? Is there, like, a potion, some kind of spell that, like, shows what you would miss the most out of, like, this world and like, whoever was in Hogwarts? Or, like, what is it?
I feel like Harry was obvious with Ron. I mean, those two have been best buddies, like, literally since they hit the ground in Hogwarts.
I mean, they're bros. Of course, yeah, they're bros.
They're bros. We all know the bromance is real. And Fleur and her little sister, I could see that. I feel like Hermione and Crumb is honestly just, like, a lucky guess. If we're gonna go out on that limb. Because who even knows that they're at that point? That's after the Yule Ball, but still.
That's after the Yule Ball, yes.
But still, how many people, well, I guess because he's a celebrity, maybe they would know. But you can't tell me he doesn't have any other, like, family or friends. He's just a loner.
I mean, but his family
abandoned.
But his family's not at Hogwarts. I think like the prerequisite is like that the person needed to be at Hogwarts
Oh,
to
that's
like
true.
make this happen.
I was thinking they could have someone come down into the Hogwarts and just kind of put him out for a little bit and throw him under the water.
Well, and also I think it's just, Joe's way of being like, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Plus, it does add for a plot point too, because Harry is confused as to like, should I take Hermione or should I take Ron? I'm not sure. So we get a little bit more plot action there.
Exactly.
But the last thing that I thought was interesting in the love was Voldemort's love for power.
Oh, yes.
And then
he is greedy AF for power.
Oh, yeah. We see through the whole series that his true love in life is power and a nice, good, long monologue, too, because we get plenty of those.
There's many things that Voldemort loves truly, and one of them is a good-ass monologue.
Where he can just tell you everything that he's been thinking for the last God only knows how long, because
maybe just like Voldemort's like a repressed theater kid, like how Hitler was like a repressed artist. I think Voldemort's just a repressed theater kid.
He just needs to do more Shakespeare, do more community theater, and then the whole wizarding world isn't going to have to worry about anything.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I have power and adulation because I'm a celebrity. That's all he wanted, really.
Honestly, if he was a celebrity of his own right and it wasn't out of killing people, I feel like all of his boxes would have been checked and he would have been fine.
Yeah, I mean, even like how like fans can like name themselves. His fans could have named themselves the Death Eaters. Still,
I was gonna say the Moldies.
The Voldies. Yeah, love it.
I thought you were gonna come up with something that wasn't just like the Death Eaters. That was like the Moldies.
I mean, if he's like, I'm thinking he was like really into like this sinister name for his followers, right? It's like like the Death Eaters, because I'm cool and metal and shit,
So he would be like a metal rock star who also moonlights in Shakespearean theater.
Maybe he does like maybe he does like a musical that's all metal or like goth,
Oh, I'm trying to think of one that's more like goth. I mean, School of Rock has some kind of aspects of that to it. Or he could just be the Phantom of the Opera if he's looking for...
There you go. Perfect.
I
Done.
think he'd be great for that. Someone who's like deformed and distressed and just hates life in general and tries to manipulate people.
Done. Check. Yeah, he's just a distressed theater kid, a rejected theater kid.
Yep. Second hot take of the day.
Oh, God. Joe would probably be like, this is not what I wrote. This is not my canon.
I don't stand this.
Then we have the politics of hero worship, which is another big part of this book and actually the series. Who are we kidding?
Yeah.
Obviously, like, Harry Potter is the hero, and he's a celebrity at Hogwarts, even though he doesn't want to be.
And we see that from the first book when he walks into the Leaky Cauldron with Hagrid. And everyone there wants to shake his hand, and he's so confused, and they're already so excited to meet him. And it's just, from the get-go, we can see that people revere him as someone who is just a hero to them, and from the start he's kind of confused, and then he kind of understands he learns why he's being called a hero, and then he has that whole conflicted relationship with it pretty much to current day, because even in Cursed Child he still fully struggles with the fact that he's quote unquote the chosen one.
Oh, yeah. I think that we see celebrity or hero worship a lot lately in not lately, in the entire books. Like, we meet Gilderoy Lockhart, who's like a celebrity. in book 2. So first book, we get introduced as Harry as a celebrity and Voldemort as this like counter celebrity, or foil to his celebrity. Then we have like someone like Gilderoy Lockhart. And then book 3, we have Sirius Black, who's like not a good way of being a celebrity, right? And then in this book, we get even more celebrities like Victor Crumb.
Yeah. And we can see how people kind of put them on a different level and a different pedestal than themselves, and just treat them in a completely different way just because mentally
they're not human.
Yeah.
They're not human to them. Yeah.
Yeah, mentally they put them in a whole nother category.
And then the Triwizard Tournament makes celebrities out of the champions, even more so. So Harry's status is elevated once again.
Yeah. Sometimes for part of the book for good, for part of the book for bad. Especially,
of course, because it comes with some bad items like Rita Skeeter writing about Harry and his glistening tears,
or the Potter Stinks badges that everyone's wearing around.
I mean, Draco Malfoy, he could use his brains for so much more than that.
Honestly, and that was the best he could come up with. Potter Stinks.
I mean, 14-year-olds, what do you expect?
Yeah, I guess that's true. And he's a boy too, so that gives him a few less years. I always think that middle school boys are mentally a few years younger than their actual age.
I think boys in general.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
And mostly I think it has less to do with brain development and more with cultural expectations.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Hot take number 3 of the day.
Oh, I am on fire.
We're just on a roll here. It's real hot in this room. So many hot takes.
So many hot takes. Then we also have the politics of fandom, which is one of my favorite politics we discussed in this book, because we had the Quidditch World Cup, and Elisa Lucas and I talked about fandom and how there are always gatekeepers in communities of fandom. And so we kind of delved really deep into fandom. And of course, this is a fandom podcast.
Yeah.
So it's very meta.
Mind blown.
I know. So we see 2 big fan events. We have the Quidditch World Cup and the Triwizard Tournament.
Yeah, you can see how these can separate people and also unite them at the same time. So, for example, in the Quidditch World Cup, you see how all of the Ireland and all the Bulgarian fans are drawn together, but then they're also drawn to go against each other. And you don't want, we see when Seamus's, I believe that's, yeah, I would say Seamus. Seamus's mom comes over and he's like, "Oh, you're supporting Ireland, right?" And they're like, "Yeah," because their whole tent is like literally, it's green. It's just like freaking Ireland. And you don't want to go up to someone who's like, "I'm here for Ireland," pew, 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 and be like, "No, I'm supporting the other team," because you don't know what their reaction is going to be. It can be scary. In fandom, we've seen how it can unite people for good and for bad, and one of the bad ways is Voldemort. Sorry, that's Elaine. You have your dog, now I have my dog. You're okay, Elaine. So we see how Voldemort's followers do unite, but it's for bad things, obviously, as opposed to good things. So though they don't really call themselves fans, we could definitely qualify his Death Eaters as fans, I would believe.
Oh, they are most definitely hardcore fans.
They're his number 1 fans.
Hardcore fans, yeah. For sure.
They're his moldies.
It's just, his Voldies are like super hardcore fans, especially one Bellatrix Lestrange. And
she's the leader of the fan club.
They for sure divide people instead of foster like unity.
Yeah, I mean, their fandom, or if we're gonna call it that for now, even within the group, it's toxic. Because, I mean, just take with the Harry Potter fandom, for example. Yes, you do see like a back and forth between the Harry Potter fandom and like maybe the Star Wars fandom, or maybe the Hunger Games, or like, as a hot take, the Twilight fandom, when that was a thing. There was definitely a big back and forth between Twilight versus Harry Potter when that was actually like a relevant thing to be talking about. But I'd say on the whole, though there is like inter-house kind of competition, like the Harry Potter fandom is pretty friendly and family-like and inclusive.
I feel like it's pretty chill, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, okay. Emmy does not agree with me? Question mark? Hey, Emmy, it's fine. Come on, come under the blanket.
Aww. Yeah, but within Voldemort's fandom, we see even between the Death Eaters that there's all these issues. I mean, even take just I was gonna say Lisa Lestrange. Gosh, Bellatrix, wrong podcast. Bellatrix Lestrange and Lucius Malfoy. They don't really like each other, or even Snape and Bellatrix. They don't really like each other either, and everyone's just fighting, just so much fighting between them, and so much like salt. Everyone's just
and the fighting is because they all want Voldemort's favor, right? Like, it's not because they have like real differences among them. It's because they all want to be Daddy's favorite child.
Yeah, it's more of a competition than it is sharing in this one collective thing that they enjoy.
Which is like hating Muggleborns and Muggles.
Just the most fun fandom you could ever be a part of.
What an exclusive club.
Yeah, and then we wonder why it's so small.
Yeah, well, that Voldy, he really does know how to create a movement. the least charismatic of cult leaders, that one.
Good Lord, I did not realize how like uncharismatic his character was until we got Grindelwald.
I know, right?
And I was like, wow, he actually knows how to work a room. Whereas you have Voldemort just like giving a monotone monologue on how he suffered and how terrible things are and how he will come back for you, Harry Potter, because he will kill you, and he could have used this whole time that he was monologuing to kill you.
I am telling you, he's just a rejected theater kid.
He should play some of the people. I honestly think that Shakespeare is a good thing for him, because there's a lot of death in those plays, and there are also a lot of monologues. So he could play a character.
Like a good Richard III would have been good for him.
Yeah, someone who like is a proponent of killing people and also just likes to hear the sound of their own voice.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm here for it. I'm here for him doing that instead of like murdering people.
Much less gore and nastiness and bodies to be picking up.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so then we also talk about the politics of gossip. Oh my goodness. We get Rita Skeeter.
Which her middle name should literally be Gossip.
Oh, for sure. And she talks about everyone except the Slytherins.
Yeah, because they're the ones feeding her all the information on everyone else.
Well, also because she's, I think unconfirmed former Slytherin.
Yeah, we don't have anything on the lexicon that confirms it either way.
But I think that we can pretty much say she has some Slytherin tendencies.
To be self-centered and driven by self...
like, she's quite ambitious.
Yes.
And she's ruthless in attaining her goals.
Yes. Yeah. I mean... Which
is not usually, like, the worst thing, but in her case...
Yeah, she doesn't really use that ambition for good. She uses it to bring down other people. So I would say that it's a bad thing, personally.
Especially Dumbledore. She seems to have, like, some kind of vendetta against her former headmaster. or professor even.
I would love to get like Rita Skeeter a history. That would be fascinating.
Or like Rita Skeeter, the Hogwarts years.
Yeah, something so we know how she got to this point of being just so crazy.
With like, did she always have that quill? Did she buy that quill, commission it? Did she make it herself?
Who knows? We don't know.
And why does she like acid green so much, you know?
Ugh.
Inquiring minds want to know.
It reminds me of my parents' old microwave, fridge, and stove that we used to have because my grandma liked like the bright green colors in the 70s, and so the whole kitchen is like disco.
I love bright colors, but like Rita Skeeter gives bright colors a bad name.
Yeah.
Just like Dolores Umbridge gives pink a bad name. And cats.
Yep, pretty much.
Do you think Jo doesn't like cat ladies? Is that what she's telling us?
I feel like it. Well,
I mean, Minerva is a cat, though.
Yeah, and she gives Crookshanks to Hermione.
But maybe she doesn't like the obsessive cat ladies, or she doesn't like girly girls, maybe.
Maybe. I feel like that's more of it. Because all the people...
Which, like, Jo, I'm a girly girl, and I'm okay.
I feel like people in England, just generally speaking, are less girly girlish on the whole anyway.
I mean, but explain the Spice Girls, you
know?
Yeah,
that's true. You make a valid point.
Or Adele, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know enough about British culture to really speak in either way.
I mean, neither do I. I'm just like talking bullshit. Which is this whole podcast, talking bullshit with Adri and now Juliana.
Hey!
So another big part of gossip is like this whole Hermione Crumb / like, is there a triangle here? And like she gets the triangle part, but she gets the wrong end of the triangle. Like it's not Harry, it's actually Ron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she senses that something is happening, and then she's just like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna make things up from this point because that's what I'm
just gonna run with it because it makes a better story, not because it's true.
Yeah, it's like this sounds good.
And it also is kind of like a commentary on, I think, journalism as a whole, and I think maybe Rowling was already grappling with her fame.
Mm-hmm.
At this point when she was writing the book. So, because, you know, by this point, it was pretty much like bestsellers.
Mm.
So she's probably already grappling with her fame and like dealing with things being written about her. And maybe she just used part of this
definitely
as like a commentary on what sometimes the press can make up things about you because it sells a story rather than the truth.
Yeah. And I definitely think since this book, you're right, was kind of her jumping off point for more fame in the world with her writing, that half of the things that Rita wrote are probably variations on things that people wrote about her.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I empathize with her because it must be really hard to like go from like being an unknown to being like a quantity that is written over, and then people are like, well, there's no story, I'm just gonna make things up.
Oh god, that would drive me crazy. That just reminds me of the People magazine or any of those gossip magazines that have that section that is like, they're human too, and it shows you like Jake Gyllenhaal buying groceries, or one of my favorite ones, like Miley Cyrus going to church. I'm like, okay, I understand that maybe she goes to church, but that just seems out of place for me. But I mean, that's just my personal thing. But she doesn't really seem super.
Well, and even that is fabricated, right? With publicists and stuff like that. So it's not like we're seeing the real person necessarily.
Like they wear sweatpants. Like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, they know they're going to be photographed, so this is probably a choice, deliberate choice.
Those are probably Gucci sweatpants.
I mean, yeah.
Like, let's be real here.
Or like in the early 2000s, it was like the juicy sweatpants.
Oh, God. With a pair of Fat Farms. We're back to Fat Farms again.
With Ugg boots.
Oh God, I don't even know. I can't.
I know you were like a baby then, and I was more of like that demographic that was expected to wear those things. I did not, but
Oh no, I never.
you were a baby. You were like maybe in elementary school.
Oh no, we had the Ugg boots movement. Don't get me wrong. Everyone.
Oh,
It was very very real. Very real. I did not buy Ugg boots.
I am so sorry for your loss.
Yeah. That movement was very real. I never had the money to buy a pair of Ugg boots, and then
maybe that's a blessing.
I was gonna say honestly, it kind of is a blessing in disguise, because once I had the money, like once I got into high school and college, and I had the money to buy things, I didn't want them anymore.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
I still don't want them.
I've been a victim of many a fashion trend.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's pretty much like gossip plays a very permanent and prominent role in the series starting now, because everything is based on rumor from now on. Even like Dumbledore and Harry are crazy. They say Voldemort's back. And rumor and gossip plays an integral role in how Harry and Dumbledore are discredited from expanding on the truth.
Yeah, we see how that gossip paints them in a negative light too, because the regular paper isn't printing anything about Voldemort's return, and then you have all the gossip people being like, well, Dumbledore's crazy, so don't listen to what he says, but there's no confirmation definitively either way that Voldemort is or isn't back from the other sources, so it's literally just all gossip.
Yeah, and then what else? We have the last one that we want to talk about is the politics of truth, which is one of the ones that we discussed. Mm-hmm. And Dumbledore is telling the truth but hides a lot from Harry. And that is literally the entire book series.
Literally, it's the whole book. Even at the end, Harry's is like, just tell me everything. And Dumbledore's like, no.
No, my dude, it's better if you don't.
No. Sorry. My bad. Bye.
Bye. I'm dying. Didn't you know that?
I'm dying. He's like, no, bro. Like, okay, thanks, Dumbledore. You've been a real help.
Yeah. Just a real stand-up guy, that Dumbledore. And then also Barty Crouch Jr. or even Crouch himself, right? So he's been hiding the sun in his house for all these years.
Yeah, and we get the whole story on how he went to Aspen and the mom goes in and took the polyjuice potion and everything. Just lies on top of lies on top of lies. And that all kind of comes to a head at the end of the book when we learn when we get truth as to who Moody really is in that moment.
Well, and I always say this, like, not to sound like everyone's mom, but yeah, I will, that the truth will always come out even if you think it won't. So that's why I don't like necessarily lying a lot, even if it's for like a good cause. Because I'm like, I don't know, man, like the truth always seems to come out somehow.
Yeah, see, I'm just so blunt that if I lie, it just doesn't happen. Like my brain will think about it, and then the truth will just come out of my mouth anyway. So,
well, yeah, I'm very blunt as well, which is like my mom's like, you need to learn how to be more diplomatic. And I'm like, well, do I though?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much me too.
I mean, I'm not mean. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, no. If I don't like take, for example, like if I don't like what you're wearing today, I'll find something nice to say about it, but then I'll probably also say that I don't like it. Like, oh, wow, purple is my favorite color, but I'm not quite sure it looks good on you.
Okay, Juliana, this is why we're never doing video chats. Just kidding. But also, yeah, I feel ya. I've been given several backhanded compliments that are, I'm like, just tell me that you don't fucking like it. I'd rather know that than like a backhanded compliment where I'm like, like I've like this one lady, like one white lady who's basically Rita Skeeter, told me, "Oh, you always wear the most interesting shoes," and I'm like, "Well, I'm sorry, Karen. Not her real name, but she is a Karen. I'm sorry that my shoes have more personality than you."
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting is never a good thing when you hear from someone else. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, okay. Tell me what you really think.
Okay, Karen, calm down.
Oh, I love it.
Well, we all have different, I don't know, viewpoints, and I'm not hurting you.
Yeah.
Also, she wasn't a friend. Like, I'm okay with a friend telling me something like, "Hey, don't love it, but if you want to wear it, that's fine." But like, she is not a friend. She was a colleague. You have no like say in my fashion choices.
No. Screw that.
Also, she was kind of mean anyway, so I don't like mean people.
No. We'll get rid of her.
Yeah, she was legit Rita Skeeter, so.
That's terrifying.
And she loved to cause chaos.
Oh, God.
Rita Skeeter. Well, and you know what? I was talking to a coworker, a colleague of mine, and he works a lot with children from abusive families. And he says that people who like to create chaos around them to feel peace are often still grappling with childhood issues. So maybe Rita Skeeter is still grappling with some childhood issues of her own.
She just needs some therapy.
Yeah, we all need therapy. Mm-hmm. Every character here needs therapy, and we all need therapy, period.
I will die on the hill of that everyone needs a therapist, whether it be once a month, once a year, once a day. Every person in the world, and especially in this book, needs some kind of what I call brick wall to throw things up against, and that will also give them some constructive criticism in return, but does not have any emotional stake in their life. But that is just my hill that
I was last Friday I went to therapy, and I went in with what I thought was my actual problem, and my therapist helped me realize that it wasn't my problem. It was other people's problems, and that I need to learn how to navigate life without taking other people's problems as my problem.
Yep. The struggle is
and how freeing is that? To know that you're not the problem, it's other people. I mean, sometimes you are the problem, for sure, but you don't have to take other people's problems into your psyche. And like, oh, if that person doesn't like me, and I haven't actively done anything to hurt them, right? Yeah. Then they're dealing with their own trauma, and that's okay, but I don't need to take on their trauma.
Nope. Not your baggage to be carrying.
Yeah, so we good. I think we're done with the politics. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we covered a lot, and I think we covered all the high points.
And the low points. I think in this book, so when we start reading Harry Potter, right? Like, we have Sorcerer's Stone, we learn a little bit about Hogwarts, but we don't learn a lot about how the Ministry of Magic works. Then on Chamber, we learn even more about Hogwarts and like its secret passageways. And also we learn more about that with the Marauders map in Prisoner of Azkaban. But in this book, we learn more about how the Ministry of Magic actually works.
Yeah, I think this is the first book where we broaden our worldview beyond the walls of Hogwarts.
Yeah, we get a Quidditch World Cup, and we learn about how much of a pain in the ass it is to have all the wizards coming to one place where muggles and wizards have to coexist, and wizards have to permanently erase memories of muggles.
And pretty much screw over the guy who's the gatekeeper for the rest of his life because they've wiped his brain so many times.
Yeah, not abuse, obviously.
Yeah, not at all.
Not a power differential at all.
Oh, no.
So, what else do we learn about the Ministry of Magic, Juliana?
So, I kind of took from this that you can't take politicians and government at what they say at face value, because there's always so much more than meets the eye to like everything that's going on. And we learn that a lot in this book, especially with the Barty Crouch Jr. and Sr. thing, seeing that the Minister of Magic, though he probably is held to a good amount of esteem, and you want to think that he is not part of any of these crimes or anything, has a pretty dark backstory and is kind of the low-key cause of a lot of these issues that are happening. So he might say that things are fine and that he's like a good guy and everything, and that's not really the case. And we also see at the end where the Ministry and the Daily Prophet completely refuse to even report the fact that Voldemort is back. And they're just pretty much living in denial.
Well, and it's that denial serves a purpose, right? Mm-hmm. The denial in the Ministry of Magic serves the purpose of maintaining their faith, like keeping everything at face value. Mm-hmm. It's like holding on to power by any means necessary and avoiding an inconvenient truth.
Yep.
We also learned that Hogwarts is not a perfect institution. We've learned this throughout the series, but like the Ministry of Magic, it can still be infiltrated. So in this book, it has been infiltrated even worse than in previous years.
Yeah, anyone who says
because we have a real Death Eater.
Anyone who says that Hogwarts is a safe place is crazy, because of all the things that get into this building, quote unquote, unnoticed, is just mind blowing to me.
I know. I mean, they had a basilisk living at Hogwarts.
And no one knows where the Chamber of Secrets is. Like, okay, it's the one sink that's shaped like a snake.
Obviously in the girls' bathroom where all the secrets are.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah. All you have to do is ask Moaning Myrtle.
But Moaning Myrtle, like, cannot stop crying long enough. Yeah. For her to be like taken seriously.
Yeah.
Because obviously she's a woman and a ghost.
Yep. So discounted.
We also learned that the Ministry of Magic as a whole is not going to protect the wizarding world from threats because Fudge, the leader of the Ministry of Magic, values power over the truth.
Yep.
Yeah. We learn about other wizarding schools too. Oh my god.
Yeah, we actually get, again, with the expanded worldview, we see outside of not only Hogwarts, but outside of wherever the heck Hogwarts is, somewhere in Scotland.
We also see outside of the Ministry of Magic, because then we have the other politicians too.
Yeah.
So other wizarding communities have different governments or governing bodies.
Yeah, and also the different schools too. We see how each school is clearly set up different and has different expectations for their students as well, especially with
different curriculums too.
Yeah, especially with Durmstrang, where they teach their students dark arts apparently.
Or is that gossip?
It could be. We don't know.
We don't know. Dun dun dun. Oh, I think we're done.
I think we hit a lot of high points.
Woo, and some low points. Let's be real. I mean, my dogs created a riot. Elaine started whining.
Yep.
You know, normal stuff.
All the fun things.
Okay. We have reached the end of this mega episode.
So big.
It is so big because we talked about all the things. Juliana, what media have you been consuming? Let's wrap this up on a positive note.
Sure. So I have Amazon Prime, and I just realized a couple of days ago that RuPaul's Drag Race is on there up to season 5 for free now. And I'll tell you what, I've never seen that show before, and it's only because I didn't want to pay for Logo TV, because it's an extra fee on your cable. And I love it. I think it's great.
It's a delightful show.
It's so good. I just watched one of the episodes in season 5 where they do Snatch Game. I had no idea what it was, and it was hilarious, and I loved it. And the drama is just so real. But it's mind-blowing to me that these men can do makeup as well as they do. And I'm like, I have so much respect for you. It's
I know.
mind-blowing.
I just saw on Facebook this there's this drag queen who's doing 30 days of Harry Potter in drag,
Oh boy.
and his Dolores Umbridge is on point.
These people know how to contour a face, let me tell you that.
I will also post that link because it is amazing.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
He did Moaning Myrtle. He did Bellatrix Lestrange. He's doing all the things, and I'm like, I am here for all of this.
100%. Oh, that sounds awesome. I need to go see a real, like, live drag show. I haven't done that yet, but I would absolutely love to at some point.
Oh, same here. I haven't, and I want to.
Yeah, it just seems like so much fun.
Oh, yes. I've been watching something not as fun. I've been watching Unbelievable on Netflix. It stars Toni Collette and a few other great actors and actresses. And but I'm here for Toni Collette as a female detective who is like super tough and kind of acerbic, you know?
Mhm.
And it follows the true story of a serial rapist causing havoc in Colorado, and he would strike vulnerable like women who were living alone and in different police jurisdictions, so no one could connect the crimes.
Well, that's terrifying.
Yeah, totally terrifying. Very compelling TV. Not quite bingeable.
Kind of the exact opposite of what I've been watching.
Yes. Sometimes my brain requires British Bake Off, which I also have been watching because you told me it's on Netflix, like new episodes. So I've been watching that.
Hug for your
But
brain.
I need a hug for my brain every time I stop watching Unbelievable because it's a lot. But it's so well done too. You know, you're like,
One of those things you just can't look away from.
yeah. And it's not because it's a train wreck. It's because it's so well done and it's so victim centered. You know, it's not focusing on the rapist. It's focusing on the survivor.
Okay.
So it's great. Like we haven't even seen the dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just really like the show. The acting's phenomenal, but it is a lot to undertake if, you know, those kinds of things cost you a lot of emotional labor or, you know, trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not for everyone. I'm not going to say it's for everyone.
Yeah, I probably won't. I'm not someone who watches like the true crime things just because like I know I get paranoid. Like part of my OCD is I get paranoid sometimes when I watch shows and I'll like just like wake up in the middle of the night.
And you know what? Self-care means knowing your limits too.
Oh yeah. I know that I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night and be like, and plus I live alone too, so I'll be like,
yeah, no, yeah, he's here. Yeah, no. I know self-care. My self-care is that I can't watch anything that involves demons because growing up Catholic, you know, demons are a real thing.
Yep. There, you just gotta know where to draw the line.
That's my line. Is anything supernatural is where I draw the line.
Yeah, I don't do anything. For me, it's kind of the opposite. I don't do anything too realistic because then my brain can rationalize the fact that, well, if it happened to this person and it was real, it can happen to you. And I'm like,
see, I don't know why that makes much more sense than my fear. I don't know, Juliana. I don't know.
Lord only knows.
Maybe I'll talk about it in therapy the Friday after next.
Yep, put it on the docket for that.
Yeah, you know, it's always good to have something new to talk about.
Yeah, keep it fresh, keep it feeling good.
I'll keep my therapist guessing. Yeah. She's like, I thought we'd made progress, but guess what? No.
I got something new.
Okay, so where can we find you online?
So my Instagram is Julianna_runs, jelly spelled as in like grape jelly. I am also a host on the Speak Beastie podcast, which actually, as we were recording this, just got published, and there is a new episode out where we interview the gentleman who plays, what is his name? Can't remember his name now. The not to be racist or anything, but the black guy, Yusuf Kama. I'm sorry, just because the Wizarding world is so whitewashed anyway. the gentleman who plays Yusuf Kama. We got an exclusive interview with him, and we talked about some things with that. So head on over there if you'd like to hear that. He is French.
Ooh.
He's actually
amazing.
French. I didn't know he was like a legitimate French actor. So learn new things every day, you know. And then if you are also still interested in Speak Beastie, we have the Speak Beastie Common Room correspondents, which show up on YouTube the opposite week of the Speak Beastie podcast. So we're trying to get more social media around that. We might be starting an Instagram account for that soon, but we'll see. And where can we find you, Adri?
I am at Anana Banana, one N all the way in all these on Instagram and Twitter. My Twitter is locked, but if I see that you're not like, you know, a rando, a weirdo, you know, I'll add you. But also at Archaeopolitics everywhere is where we are at.
Yes.
You and I.
And we just wanted to make another request to all of our lovely listeners, just one more time at the bottom of the show. We want to ask everyone how Harry Potter has affected your politics. So if you would like to let us know, we'd love to do a compilation of all of these lovely pieces of feedback you would like to provide to us. You can send it to info@aciopolitics.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 915-996-1699. Or hit us up on any of the socials, and we will read, hopefully, a bunch of these on one podcast, and we can see in general how Harry Potter has affected everyone's politics.
I mean, you could also even talk about like your favorite moment where you realized Harry Potter was a political book.
Yeah, anything that has to do with Harry Potter and some kind of variation on politics.
Yeah, and when you do share that, and if it makes it to the episode, you'll get a very special sticker. So usually just patrons get stickers, but guess what? You're going to get a sticker for participating too.
And who doesn't love a sticker?
I mean, I know Julianna loves stickers, and I think a lot of people do. And stay tuned because we are going to be doing giveaways soon, so I'm really excited about that. I got some patches that I'm commissioning that say "Believe Women" and "Impeach him."
Yes.
To give away, and also for my jean jacket.
I mean, if you're not gonna wear it, then it's a waste. You have to.
I mean, I'm commissioning a few. Yeah, I'm commissioning a few. They are done by my lovely friend, Melanie Bowen, and she is at Micro Affections on Instagram if you want to see everything she embroiders. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. All right, that's it for the show today. What did you think? You can leave us a voicemail at 915-996-1699. You can also email us at info@Archaeopolitics or at Archaeopolitics in all the socials. Julianna, do you want to say the politics managed part?
Sure. And until next week, politics managed.
Support this podcast for as little as $2 a month on patreon.com/Archaeopolitics. Follow the pod on social at Archaeopolitics on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Email me at info@archaeopolitics.com with your thoughts, theories, and favorite moments of the series. You can also leave me a voicemail to be featured on the podcast at 915-996-1699. Theme music is Think Big by Scott Holmes. This podcast is brought to you by MuggleNet.com.